Chris, with Steph out, does Buddy become a real priority just in terms of trying to keep him from getting hot?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what he's been able to do when they've needed him most. I think playing with the most confidence I've seen him, probably in the system that has, fit him best, and his playing just like, all their great shooters have is just constant movement, becomes a tough cover. And for sure, we got to definitely be able to try to put a mark on him, So.
Is there a key to, like, just getting a hand in his face, or, like, how do you approach a guy like that?
Well, I mean, I didn't like our I didn't like our physicality the other day. Like, we just, you can't hit what you can't touch, and, like, we just couldn't we just didn't get into them, didn't slow them down. We talked about being more disruptive on and off the ball. We weren't that. They beat us to every 50-50 ball. A lot of those offensive rebounds, 50-50 balls, become three-point shot opportunities for Golden State because of the way they move so well and keep moving throughout a play. So, and there's just a heightened awareness on that movement that needs to happen for us.
Chris, in the Lakers series, you said you didn't want to get lost in seeking matchups and hunting, I guess, in that sort of way. How does that? Was that specific to last round, or what's the balance there of pursuing advantages versus getting kind of lost?
Well, I think you're always going to look for matchups that are going to give you some sort of advantage, but you have to also stay within the flow and the concepts of your offense that you can do, and so it is a little bit of a balance there. I think a lot of it has to do with how these defenses are built. I think the Laker defense is very different than this defense, so figuring that out as things unfold is also a huge part of the series for us. So.
Jimmy Butler's been described as playing off 2 feet.
Yeah.
He slows the game down. He's not exactly the moving target that a guy like Steph is. What's the key to defending Butler or taking something away from him?
Yeah, I think, the number one key to defending him is keeping him off the free throw line, really. I mean, he's able to draw fouls, pretty clever foul drawer, I would say. And then you just got to try to win. He's got a really good first step, so you just got to try to win as many first steps as you possibly can, east-west him a little bit, and then be disciplined. So.
Jaden McDaniels has expanded his repertoire this year. Obviously, in Game 1, the priority was wing stopping on Curry.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to use him with Curry out?
We're going to use him across the board. I think there's a number of matchups depending on who's in the game at any time and what they're trying to do. I think gives us some flexibility there. We'll see what they try to do, but we have a pretty good idea that he can. There's a number of guys that he can guard out there, and whether they're bigs or smalls.
Do you like the idea of leaning into him being kind of a skilled big in this?
Sure. Yeah.
Chris, one, I like that sweatshirt. Very
Thank
sharp.
You.
Yeah.
I'll mail you one.
What have you seen from Ant since Game 1 in terms of how he approached the film session, his demeanor at practice, anything in terms of how he's approaching this Game 2?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony's pretty much always the same. It's one thing that we love about him. He's resilient. He responds. Been professional. He's taken the criticism in the film room. He's taken the criticism whenever it's come his way, and he always bounces back, and he does it with a smile on his face, and that's when we know that he is at his best. That's one of the things I think that gives him a great platform to lead and be the leader for this team. So he was good. I think mood has been appropriate. We been all business, and team has been kind of a little quiet in the last day and a half, but I like that. Hopefully they're stewing. So,
Chris, you mentioned the Warriors' defense. Their numbers went up significantly when Butler
Yeah.
came. I think number 1 in defensive rating.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think about the way they play defense,
Yeah.
and specifically Draymond. We all know he's an accomplished defender, but as a
Sure.
coach,
Yeah.
when you watch video, what about the way Draymond plays stands out to you?
Well, he seems to be like in every spot at the same time. He can guard on the ball. He's like the seemingly first to the help. Plays with great length at the rim. His timing, whether it be contesting at the rim or being in help, is impeccable. You know, it's great. Just has great feel there, and there's also kind of quarterbacks. The entire operation. So, you put together another high IQ defender like Jimmy with them, and you're gonna get a good defense. And they've done a really good job of kind of forming an identity. And when the ball gets in and around the paint, they swarm you, and they got a lot of quickness and athleticism. They don't necessarily have like size like a lot of defenses like to have interior wise, but they are very active and they know where they're going next before you even make that play. So their intuition is really good. So
we talked to Hield earlier today, and he's maybe not shooting as well as he hoped this postseason, and he talked about trying to put that aside. Just how have you seen him try to navigate, the shooting struggles? So far.
Yeah, he's not shot the ball well. But he's had moments where he's played well, and this all season long. Like I thought that what's made it such a successful season is he's been a great all-around basketball player, and that's what he needs to focus on getting back to. Not going to live and die with every shot now. This is a tough for him to do it. To do that, there's a lot of pressure on every single shot. So go out there and find other ways to contribute. We need him to play better. We need him to give us the minutes that he's been giving us all season long. And, I'm confident that he will. I think there's been a recognition that he needs to play better, and that's where we start. So.
Chris, what are you hoping to see from back here?
Okay.
What are you hoping to see from Rudy offensively to kind of help try and mitigate some of the help they're showing when you're attacking the rim?
Yeah, I think, I think to help Rudy out, we got to find him a little better. We've not been great at that. Two is, we got to space better. I thought our spacing around Rudy was really poor the other day. And I think Rudy's activity, I think he can be a little more active when he's working around on the baseline. I think he can get out of his roles a little bit quicker with a little bit more force to get some separation. Those are things that he knows how to do well, particularly when he has a size advantage, and that helps us.
Chris, when your team does struggle from three, do you want them to just keep shooting it, or do you want them to go to the rim more? How do you coach that part of it?
I want them to keep taking good shots. We love the three like everybody else, but we're not going to try to just put them up just for the sake of putting them up. We want to make the right basketball play. I do think there are times where you can drive it again and create even better shot on the other side of the floor, but with teams that swarm the paint and hawk the ball like these guys do, they're going to give you threes, and you just got to be ready to knock them down. So, thank you.